Ladies and gentlemen, tonight is Fukushima night, the 6th year hidden story. Well, it's not quite hidden. It's been online for 6 years and addressed as much online. It just hasn't been on your local TVs. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me play a song that lets you know that if it hasn't been on TV, you have been this. Get ready, because this song is going to awaken you, for it's the appropriate song given the circumstances. Granted that it will play at the moment. Where's that? Right here! There you are. Awaken, my people! This is what happens. You never believe what you see on TV. Ever! Who has awoken the deaf, the seeing, and the blind? Was it not I? Was it not I? Was it not I? Was it not I? You heard him. Are you ready? Sorry, you don't start this song without finishing it. I'm sorry.
I can see, I'm going blind. 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 I can see, I'm going blind.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Last Voice of Liberty Network's Fukushima Night, the 6th year hidden story. I am your host, Ian Andrew Maddox, formerly known as E for Eternity, aka host of E-Psych, which will be airing next week, same time as this show aired. And tonight I have a very special co-host who's been dying to get this this story out. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce to you the host of the most of the You Always Know the Most, Mr. Friday Motherfucking Night himself, Dennis Ford. You know who you are, man. Just go to the show, bro. It's yours tonight. Go for it.
Well, yeah, first of all, Big E, thank you. Use the cream.
Yeah.
But, again, thank you for having me on. I mean, it is what it is, the show here tonight. But I feel like, when it comes to Fukushima, that's one thing. But I want to talk about something real quick, because this happened yesterday. David Rockefeller finally died, and I drank all I could and partied as much as I could yesterday, because I've been waiting for that dude to die for a long time. And it's not, I wish death on anybody. I don't wish anything like that on him. But this is one of the most sick psychopaths.
Who's responsible, Tom Petty or Joan Jett?
New World Order builders. This guy has funded multiple secret societies, multiple things that have raped and pillaged and plundered people throughout the world, not just the United States of America. So, yeah, I mean, you kind of have... Here's another thing, right? All of us combined as activists, all the people that are involved in truth community or whatever you want to call it, yesterday was a day of rejoice because, again, the world is a better place without David Rockefeller. And I hope he's in hell getting pineapple shoved up his ass or whatever. But, I just wanted to point that out. That's something, again, I've been waiting on that. Hopefully the rest of these assholes will fall as the year goes on, because they, again, are the problem. They are one of the major problems that we deal with. But, again, tonight's show is not about that. I just wanted to get that off my chest.
Well, can I ask you a question? Who's responsible for transplanting him down to hell? Was it Tom Petty or Joan Jett?
I don't know. People...
It's a conspiracy, I know. We hear it all in this business.
I'm saying a celebrity, a celebrity will die, okay? Last year we had a lot of people that died, some famous people or whatever. People know these people. They're like, oh, it's whatever. David Rockefeller died. The only people that are interested in that are going to be the people in the community, but even politics, people in Washington, D.C. If Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton are vouching for you and saying that you're such a good dude, that's how big of a piece of shit you are for that.
Yeah.
When you die, when you die, people are celebrating your death. That should give you a glimpse of just how evil.
Oh, when Woody Allen passes away, I wonder what the world's going to be like.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of fake news going around about his heart transplants and everything, but there are people that die on waiting lists waiting for heart transplants, and this dude at least had 3 or 4 because of his money and his pull, trying to, he was 101 years old when he died, so he was just trying to hold on and trying to see this big plan, this New World Order. He's actually quoted in one of his books talking about a secret cabal that is trying to take over the world and blah, blah, blah. In his memoirs, he openly admitted that he's proud of that. So, yeah, the world is a better place without him, but somebody's going to take his spot. It'll be somebody in his family.
Oh, definitely.
Somebody else involved in that elite global force that is going to fulfill his shoes. But at the same time, like I said, yesterday was a day that I've been waiting for a while. So when I heard that news, I had to jump on that and understand that that was real. That wasn't fake news. But I'm sure they're trying to take his brain. They probably cut his head off and they're trying to
put in like a little dog like Smithers or something.
See the New World Order be fulfilled here on Earth. But guess what, David? Time ran out, buddy.
I'll probably put in like a little dog like Smithers in The Simpsons, like woof woof.
No more. That dog ain't hunting no more.
Yeah.
But that's, that's how I feel about that. Like I said, death is not something you should celebrate, but when it comes to David Rockefeller, I'll make an exception. Trust me.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Jay-Z, Joe Camel, shit a brick when one of his idols is dead. Somebody he named a record label after. Again, people know Rockefeller Records. You know Jay-Z, but you don't know who David Rockefeller is, do you? You don't know. But I digress. Again, tonight is about Fukushima.
Let's get to that. Let's get off that guy. He's dead. He's gone. We already know what the game plan is. Now let's get to the topic of that. Yeah, let's get to why we assembled here tonight.
Yeah, like I told you before the show, I was trying to run around and get some notes because I've done numerous shows about Fukushima over the last, again, 6 years. This has been going on for 6 years. But even when it happened, I want to give people a little bit of history of my origins. It was probably my first 5 shows when I first got involved in radio. When I was still I was greenhorn to all this. I really didn't, I was just getting into everything. But a good friend of mine named Scott Shannon actually introduced me to this whole concept of what was going on in Fukushima because I had heard about it. I heard about the earthquake, the tsunami that hit this nuclear power plant, and I was fascinated by it. I was thinking, at the time, I was like, this is either going to settle, this is all going to work out, or I'm going to be here 6 years later telling people that this is a very, very important topic. This is something that is not a joke. It is very real, and it is happening. But at the same time, like I said, in the origins of what I'm doing on radio and being on radio, Fukushima is something I've always come back to over the 6 years. It's actually like a marker in my history of doing radio. And again, like I said, for 6 years, this has been going on, and it'll blow your mind just to wrap your head around 6 years of radiation leaking into the ocean, let alone people scrambling and PEMCO and Japanese government and people trying to downplay how severe this is. Because let me tell you, this is I've been saying for a long time throughout the years doing these shows that this could be the event that it could be an extinction level type event, and it possibly could kill a lot of people. Maybe not everybody in America, but it is that real. And like I said, for 6 years, radiation has been leaking in the ocean. Me personally, humans are one thing, but the sea life, like I was telling you before the show again, that's incredible that all these different animals are living in the ocean, and they don't know what's going on. They have no idea why they're dying and thrown off track, and it's just all this shit going on. So if anybody, I know people don't really want to hear this, but you might want to stay away from seafood, let alone the foods in your grocery store. But seafood is probably not your best bet right now, especially if it's coming from the Pacific Ocean, because, again, 6 years of radiation leaking into the ocean is something that is concerning. To me, I don't know, I can't speak for everybody out there.
Before we go into the Pacific Ocean, I also wanted to remind you of the conversation we had before about the Atlantic Ocean. But before that, I want to also bring up our reality ISP network. Next week, Eva is doing the same show that we are. I also brought up to you earlier on today. She's doing the same show we are next week. She told me over the phone. I had told you earlier on today.
Yeah, I got to get in touch with her.
You definitely got to get together with her. She wants to talk to you and get together with you regarding that. So it's the same time slot that we're on right now. She does her shows the same days I do, because that's what we did when we were doing E for Eternity together. Remember those days? Well, we still we haven't broken our format. We're just doing separate stuff. She does her thing, I do my thing, same day.
That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying a minute ago.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's like Wu-Tang did. Wu-Tang did their thing.
Yeah.
They all did their own thing, but they're still the same people.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Over the last 5 to 6 years, I've done multiple shows about this particular topic where we dedicate a whole show to the topic, let alone just talking about it for 30 minutes, because it's something I'm passionate about, but at the same time, it's a double-edged sword. It's so frustrating to talk about, because what can really be done you can't put a Band-Aid on this.
You can.
I'll get into what you said about us talking about the ocean and everything in a minute, but speaking of that, in the Gulf, right, the Gulf of Mexico, we had BP oil spill. This was
we talked about that too. Yeah.
I don't know what year that was.
That was a couple years ago. That was like
about
the second term, yeah.
Here, but I just want to point this out, is that, we're not talking about an oil spill. Okay,
no.
Oil is bad enough.
Yeah.
Okay, trust me, that's very bad, again, for sea life and humans in general. And there was a timer of days on people's television where people were watching this, trying to figure out how they're going to fix this problem. And it went over 100 days or whatever. But still, we're talking about nuclear waste. A nuclear reactor is actually spewing its shit into the ocean. So this isn't oil. Okay, this is, like I told you before the show, Toxic Avenger, right? Everybody remembers that from the 80s.
Cartoon as well, Toxic Crusader.
This shit is toxic to life, period. Any form of life cannot be around radiation for an extended period of time, because then you're going to experience, some kind of illness that's eventually going to lead to you having cancer and shit. Which reminds me, at the nuclear power plant right now in Japan, even robots cannot even get close. They can get in there and do what they do, but it's only maybe 20 minutes. Again, I'm not a scientist, I'm not an expert on this, but when a robot goes in somewhere and it melts, that should give you a glimpse of how toxic this is. And even when this first happened, humans were going in and out. They were taking people that were willing to go in here, knowing that they're probably going to die, which is sad to say, going in there for 15 to 20 minutes and exposing themselves to this radiation. And you can't, like I told you before the show, if I was in Japan, to walk into this meltdown site, you're not going to be there too long before you start to feel ill, and then you're going to have all kinds of other shit going on. So like I was saying, this is not oil, this is toxic radiation. This is very, very deadly to any life on this planet. And it would be one thing if they stopped it, if it wasn't leaking anymore, but it is still leaking, and that's partly to blame to TEPCO and the Japanese government and governments throughout the world that try to downplay.
Wait, is my microphone on?
Yeah, you're good. You're good. I was just going on there, but like I said, I'll get into the ocean and how all this is a global event as we go on. But like I said, this is it's very tragic. This is not something to joke about. I make jokes about it and shit too, but essentially this is, I ran a story. I don't know. Again, we're dealing in the age now where fake news and shit is running around, but this is an extinction level event if this is not dealt with, because if this leaks for another 4 years, you're looking at 10 years of radiation leaking in the ocean, and, people in America may not be concerned. They may not give it the time of day or really think it affects them, but trust me, even if it wasn't leaking, they were talking about 40 to 50 years of cleanup just to get everything back to the way it was. So you're talking about your grandkids, all that, on down throughout your family. It's just bad, man. It's very bad. It's horrific. It's like I said, it's to the point where people need to know about it, but what can we really do? And that's what I was going to ask you. What are your thoughts on it, E? Because I know you've been running through videos and.
Oh, I can tell you right now. Like I said before,
I mean, how do you even comprehend what's going on in Fukushima?
Like I said, through all those running through those videos. Like I said, through running through those videos. You sure that microphone's on? By the way, I just want to make sure that.
Yeah, you're good. I can hear you.
Okay, you can hear me. Okay. Well, just making sure. I ran through those videos. I watched them as much as I can, as much as I could. I could barely sit through what I saw. A lot of it. That was so disturbing. It was so disturbing watching a lot of what I saw. And, it's like, even though a lot of what I saw you'd figure a kid could handle, I have a conscience. I have a soft spot for people. And when they lose their homes, and when they lose children out in sea, those are little children. In some of those videos, families were lost out in sea. Digging up in rubble, looking for their children, finding their clothing. That breaks me.
Yeah.
And when I'm not a crier. I used to be a big time crier. Before I got involved with being unlocked in truth. Hold on.
Not to jump here, but I just want to point this out. All this stems from an earthquake.
Yeah, it started with an earthquake.
Yeah. There was an earthquake. Not to mention, there's some other conspiracy shit on top of that I'll get to later on. But there was an earthquake and a tsunami that hit this nuclear power plant. A 45-foot tall wave hit this nuclear power plant. And, again, ever since then, it's been like Hulkamania. Shit's running wild. It's out of control.
Running wild is an understatement, man. It's beyond that.
Yeah, there's a report going around and people talking that it's unimaginable levels of radiation. So you're talking about any kind of category that a scientist or a physicist or whoever you can name puts in a category that says, you know, this is the level, it's unimaginable. So that should give you a glimpse of what's going on. Also,
and then top it all off, like, beyond having a glimpse, imagine living there, actually being a citizen living there.
Yeah, I mean, I have friends in Japan. I don't know why they still live in Japan. I don't know what kind of thinking is going on. But even here, even in the United States of America, you know, where are we going to go? You're going to go to Mars?
What are you going to run to?
You're going to go to the moon?
And then the immigration status is pathetic. Where are you going to run to? Round or flat, where are you going to run to?
Now, it would be one thing if there was one nuclear reactor going through a meltdown, which happened in Chernobyl. Again, I talked about this to you before the show. But when this happened, the governments there rushed in all the people they could to attack this. And they buried it under sand and concrete, and they were able to contain it. But again, that was a situation there. We're dealing with at least multiple, I would say 3, probably 4, because again, the reports, we really don't know. But I think there's 6 or 7 reactors right there. But 3 of those are out of control. The number 2 reactor is actually sinking into the earth. So, what can you really do? I mean, can you call Superman? You got Superman's number in your cell phone. Can you call the Justice League or the Avengers? You got Iron Man on speed dial? Because that is a big problem. And they built a wall. They did all these things to try to contain it. But what the Japanese government and TEPCO should have done, instead of bullshitting people and trying to downplay everything and, oh, it'll be all right, they should have got on this ASAP. But they didn't do that. They were trying to get this all back up and running and get everybody to come home and everything's fine. We'll just run on nuclear power. Not to mention nuclear power as a human species is very outdated when we can have alternate technologies of free energy, but they don't want to do that. Anyways, I digress. Like I said, TEPCO and the Japanese government, not only them, but the United States government and all the United Nations and blah, 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 should have been able to deal with this. But again, before the show, I told you, people are stupid. I don't know if you know that, but
Yeah.
I'm not an expert. Again, I'm not involved in their politics, but this has no politician input. This is something that needs to be, contained, if you will, if we can contain it. But like I said, for 6 years, there was a report that came out in the early origins of Fukushima that I want to point out. 300 metric tons of radiation was leaking in the ocean every day. Now, I understand that the ocean can clean itself and do things. Again, this is not oil, this is radiation. So this is going to affect things. This is going to affect your currents. The Pacific Ocean is one thing. The Atlantic, I can't really pinpoint it, but I can tell you the way the oceans move and the way water evaporates and moves up through the atmosphere and is in clouds and rains, this shit is being spread throughout the world. This is not just a Japanese, Japan situation. This is affecting, again, 6 years is a long time. A lot of people wouldn't really say that's, for me, a year is a long time, but 6 years is a long time for this to be leaking, and like I said, this working its way around the earth. At this point, again, like I said, people don't really have to listen to me, but yeah, I would not be eating seafood. I wouldn't be going to Red Lobster or any of these things because they're not going to tell you, oh, here's your lobster dinner, but it's, from the ocean and there's radiation. They're not going to tell you that. They're trying to make money. That's what this is all about. This isn't about saving humanity or the planet. This is about them figuring out a way where they can just make, not to mention they're throwing a lot of money at Fukushima over the years, but it hasn't, again, been contained. This is, again, running wild. This is something that I focused on, not because I'm doing activism, because, again, this has no political ties. This is something that affects everybody. And all these people that run around talking about they love their children, oh, my kid is my world. Well, what are you going to do when there's no world for your child to grow up in because radiation is everywhere? What are you going to do then? And all these people having children, thinking that everything's going to be fine. I hate to tell you, television, like you were saying at the beginning of the show, yeah, people are blind. That's a good song to play because people are blind.
I figured you'd find that appropriate.
People in society have no fucking idea. You know, excuse my French, but people have no idea the magnitude of this shit that's going on in Fukushima. And this is not fear porn. I'm not trying to scare people. But you need to know about this. You need to be aware of this, especially, like I said, people that are having kids and think 10 years, 15 years from now, the kid's just going to go to high school. Nah, shit's going to get worse, especially if this continues to leak for the next, even 4 years. We've already had it for 6 years. I can only imagine in 4 years, I don't think they're going to stop it. Like I told you, I don't see any good outcome in this. So it's very depressing to me. It's very, very frustrating. I wish it never happened. I know Mother Nature does what it does, but like I said, there's some conspiracy shit tied to what was going on in Japan at the time, where they were trying to get George Bush Jr. tried on 9/11 and some other shit. So this may be tied into HARP or some kind of weaponized weather thing. Again, global politics outside the United States, where people try to control shit, but the outcome of that is that we got Fukushima. And this is the funny aspect of it, is that the elites, global elite, the people that have so much money, you know, they wipe their ass with the $100 bills. You can't run away from this radiation. None of us can. And like I said, if it continues to do what it's doing, it's not going to be pretty. Like I said, it could kill us all. You know, if it continues if everything for the next 15 years just plays out the way it is, not even 15 years, but like I said, next 4, 5, 6 years, let's just say Fukushima leaks for 12 years, and it plays out that way. It's not going to be good, man. It's not even going to be Earth that you even want to be on, because there's going to be so much radiation and people with cancer. It could actually turn into a Walking Dead scenario, if you will. You know, not necessarily zombies eating people or trying to eat brains, but it could be an epidemic on that level of event where there's only going to be a few people that are not affected or sick from this event. And like I said, it's very depressing. It's very frustrating. It's very, it's something that I like to talk about. I like to let people know about, because a lot of people are unaware. They don't even know. They can't even point Japan out on a map. You know
if I could say something real quick.
You need to know about this.
I'd like to say something real quick before you go any further. We don't have any other line right now for other people to call to want to chime in on the subject, so I do humbly apologize to all those others on your friends list, Dennis, and other people that want to chime in on this Fukushima subject. I am very sorry, but I do have a Skype, so for those that want to friend me, look for my name. As you see it...
I may be able to work out something. I think I can add people on this line, but
if you can add people on your line, if you want, we can go to a break. If you want, we can go to a break. You can add people on your line if you want, and we can add people to the phone conversation, and maybe other people that want to join the conversation. Let's do that. Let's see if other people want to join the conversation. That way we can make this more live and other people, because I've seen people on your friends list before, because I added I did tag you in not the video, but the show we're doing right now, because that comic book thing I made of Fukushima, I used that as the show profile like I told you I would, and it did pop up like I had hoped it would. So yes, it's up there. It's up there like I had hoped it would. So I put it there and told your friend he wanted the Blog Talk radio phone number. He doesn't know it's not Blog Talk, so I posted. I said, "Listen here."
This is different, you know.
Yeah, it's Spreaker. It's not Blog Talk, but I said, "Listen here" to the guy. But yeah, tell your friend, tell others, and anyone else who's listening right now, if you've got Dennis's phone number.
Like I said, just give me a little bit of time here to, run off all this shit, because...
Yeah, go ahead, take your time, run it all off that you want, and then we'll go to break.
I'm not even talking about you, Ian. I'm just saying, just so much shit, like I said, over the last 6 years.
There's a lot there, you sounded.
Ever done. Yeah, when I first got into radio, a friend of mine was like, yeah, we should do a show. You know, if you don't like it, you never have to do it. You know, you don't have to do shows. And I was like, well, let's do it. And we did a couple of shows. Bam, Fukushima happened. So the next week, or the following weeks, it was like a 3-week period after this event happened that I was on a show with one of my best friends that I've ever met in my life, you know, Scott Shannon. And we were talking about this, and this was still new. This had just happened. Now, on top of that, do you remember, I guess it was 2012.
I wasn't there at the time.
No, I'm saying in 2012, there was a song that was released by a group called the Imagine Dragons.
Yes,
okay?
Trojans?
It was called Radioactive, okay? That was the name of the song. Now, it was in the Billboard Top 20. It was number 15 or 14 in the Billboard Top 20 for a long time. So that means it was getting heavy rotation on all major radio stations throughout the United States. Now, if you listen to that song, I don't recommend anybody listens to it because it's a horrible song. It's terribly composed, if you will. But if you listen to that song, it says, "Welcome to the New Age, radioactive," and this shit is just playing on the radio, and people have no idea what the hell they're talking about. But I do. You are a part of the New Age. You're part of an age where, yeah, if this shit continues to leak, it is going to be a New Age because you're going to see shit you never imagined. And we're already seeing it with the wildlife, birds, fish that just beaching themselves. They don't know what's going on. The wildlife has no idea what's going on. This is human intervention that's messed up shit, and we're seeing the repercussions of it. And it's, like I said, it's very tragic. I'm a big fan of not only seafood. You know, I grew up, you know, that was like something, you know, everybody, you know, people like seafood. I'll just throw that out there. But for me, dolphins and sharks and whales and the wildlife that swims around the oceans and shit was something I was fascinated with at an early age. Not just that, but animals in general. Because people are lame and boring to me. So I was very fascinated with animals. I've always had animals around and cats or dogs, but the sea life was something I was very fascinated with because they live in the ocean, right?
Yeah.
That's incredible. It's like a big aquarium. You know, aquariums fascinate me too. We have one in Baltimore here on the East Coast. And I would go up there and I would look at the animals and shit in the aquariums, and it was very, very intriguing and fascinating, like I said. But they have no idea what's going on. They don't know what radiation is, and the shit is affecting them. And there's stories that have been coming out in the last year, 2 years, where you see fish with, you know, like I was telling you, The Simpsons, right? They joke about it. There's a fish with 3 eyes that lives in the water next to the nuclear power plant. But this is actually becoming a reality. You know, if this continues to leak, I don't know, we might have Godzilla come out of the ocean for real. You know, that's how you get Godzilla, is leaking radiation to the ocean. And it's just something to think about. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, people don't care, you know, because they're busy with their hectic lives and 9 to 5 and trying to pay bills. But for me, that's very frustrating because it just shows you, again, not that people are stupid, not that humans are stupid, it's just that, you know, I guess you have to forgive us because we don't know what we're doing. You know, we have no idea what we're doing. We use nuclear power to boil water, to create steam, to create energy. When we have energy where nobody would have to pay for energy, we could all be living, you know, not worrying about paying that bill, but they don't want that. Like I said, with TEPCO and the Japanese government, they want to get this shit back up and running so they can charge people for energy. So, yeah, I guess humans are stupid. You know, I'm sorry, you know. It's all about money. It's all about money. And TEPCO, from the beginning, has been lying about this. And like I said, they just want people to come home. Come on back to your home. Everything will be fine.
Well, at least they're not sending them back. Well, at least they're not sending Dennis. At least they're not sending them back through firing squad like in that movie Resident Evil 2 Apocalypse.
Well, either way, like I said, predictive programming. I mean, there's a movie, I can't remember the name. It came out in like the late 60s or 70s, but it was the exact scenario of this. And it just reminds me, like I said, over the years of like all this shit going on, with everything, people, it may be a social topic. Matter of fact, right now, everybody's talking about Trump and the wiretapping and, scandals and shit. That's important to people, but at the same time, nobody gives a shit about politics. Nobody wants to talk about none of this shit because we all know what it is. But when it comes to Fukushima, you know what I'm saying? This is not a debatable subject. There's not too much you can debate with somebody about this. It is what it is. The facts are the facts. Again, I don't have all my notes in front of me for this particular topic, but like I said, over the years, I've discussed this with multiple people, and we've all kind of understood that this is not good. This is not cause for celebration. Like I said, this could be an extinction level event, and like I said, I posted a link about that earlier on my page. Just reading through that, because if they can't contain it and they can't stop it, then you're talking about radiation oceans for the next 20 years. If we even make it that long, if we even make it, and then where are you going to go? None of us have the money to get on a spaceship with the rest of the global elite shitbags and go up to Mars or the moon or wherever they're talking about potential other planets out there that are Earth-like, that they can look for. They always say they're looking for life in the universe. They're looking for life out there. They're not looking for life. They're looking for somewhere to run, because they can't even go on the ground after this shit continues to leak for the next however long it's going to be leaking. Because when it comes to that question, I don't have an answer for you. I don't know when Fukushima is going to stop leaking. But the second reactor, there was a report that came out. I was reading some shit. Multiple people said that he could, they cannot imagine hell, but this is probably the closest thing to hell, because this reactor is actually sinking into the earth. And how do you stop that? I mean, what can you do? You've already wasted 6 years of bullshitting people and trying to do whatever you're doing. Again, Japanese people are some of the most intelligent people on the planet.
Oh yeah, they gave us anime. Who can out-animate anybody in the universe? The Japanese. They can out-animate us all, man.
I'm just saying, they
are brilliant people.
So you would think when something like this happens, it wouldn't even involve TEPCO or the Japanese government. It would be the think tanks of people getting together being like, this is what we need to do. Not to mention, like I said, when it comes to this particular event, they've already wasted enough time. They should have, this should have been contained a long time ago. But like I said, you're dealing with multiple reactors. You're not dealing with just one. And like I said, anybody that's not familiar with nuclear power and how all this shit works, here's another thing, right? Why would you even use this technology if you don't fully comprehend what the fuck you're dealing with? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, really.
That's all I'm saying. If you don't know what you can do, if you don't know a plan A, plan B, all the way to plan M, if you haven't had time to think this shit out, then don't build a nuclear power plant.
Why would you do that?
This is another key point that a lot of people don't understand. You can pull up nuclear power plants throughout the world and just look at the power plants that are on fault lines where a potential earthquake could happen, which is bad news for nuclear. They always say, we have shit in place if something like that happens. Bullshit. They don't even fix the fucking roads. The government don't even use the money the way that they whatever government it is. So they don't know what to do when shit like this happens. You should have planned this out. And it's the only reason I'm frustrated about it is because they fucked us all. They fucked me, you, our kids, our grandkids, whoever. They did this shit to us because, like I said, they want to use nuclear power and enslave humanity. And this is what you get from that. And this is what happens when you let psychopaths and people that are obsessed with power and money and controlling people, this is what you get. So that's why it frustrates me. And like I said, with Tesla, the technologies that we have, that they've hoarded to themselves, this could have been prevented. But no, we got to charge people for energy. We can't give people free stuff.
Oh,
do
God
that.
forbid. God forbid that's entitlement. Really? God forbid anyone be free for free. For freedom's sake, how dare we think that way? Dennis, how could you?
I'm just saying, in my own opinion, there is no need for Fukushima to be happening. There's no need for that. But it happened, and these people have no idea what to do. Like I said, if you know Superman's phone number, call him up, please. Call him up. Call up some superhero to come save this planet and save us all from this disaster that's, again, possibly going to kill us all if we don't do something about it. And I don't know what to do about it. I'm not in a position to solve this problem. I don't have any solutions to it. Neither do anybody else dealing with it. Robots cannot even go in and deal with this situation because they melt. In a 10 to 15, 20 minutes, you're looking at a melted robot. That's how toxic.
And they're master molded by toxic waste. Like a potter to the clay.
That's beyond comprehension. I mean,
Yeah.
and then, you know, the reports have been coming out. They're talking about unimaginable levels of radiation. So, like I said, any chart that they have, this is like, you know, it's the same thing. If you're using your phone, you got data on your phone, right? You get so much data every month. This is way beyond that. Anything you could even fathom. So,
Well, heck, man, if it's wasted, all toxic, there's no data left to find.
I mean, I don't know, man. I really don't know what to say anymore about it. And like I said, I'm not trying to scare people. I'm not trying to fear monger or anything like that.
That's not even. That's not even compare. You can't even compare that to our network owner.
Or Luke Radowski or Adam, whoever you want to name.
Heck,
They're not talking about Fukushima.
Heck,
at all.
You can't even compare that to our network owner showing up to work. That's really wasted, man. That's toxic.
It's the same thing with.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make fun of our boss Lee there. I'm just saying that's toxic when robots can't survive the mission. But our network owner can show up as the last voice of liberty every day faithfully. There's something wrong with Fukushima when the last voice of liberty is Lee Peer. Go, Lee, go! I had to throw a promo in there for Lee.
Lee is one thing. All right?
Lee is the man.
You know,
Lee is the man playing guitar on Facebook video. Jamming Lee.
We would talk about this. We would bring it up during shows, and you know, Lee and other people would be like, you know, this things, you know, the ocean, it cleans itself. It'll work out. Like I said, we're not talking about oil, man. We're talking about radiation. We're talking about again, something that's very toxic. I mean, deadly. I can't stress that enough. Deadly to any form of life. You can stand next to what's going on there. I don't know what the mile radius is. Again, I don't have the numbers in front of me. But if you get too close to this shit, you're going to probably puke, feel very ill. And if you stand there for too long, you're probably going to just deteriorate and fall into ashes.
I don't think the Great Wall of China could forget about sending tariffs to China. I don't think the Great Wall could stand up into this place, man. I mean, no dragon would breathe fire to what's going on in Fukushima right now. Nothing compared to what I'm seeing on these videos when I can actually stand there and watch it. After what I've seen, parents and cranes and all this stuff digging rubble just to find their kids' clothes. Forget about finding the kids' bodies. It's horrible, man.
Yeah,
I mean, I couldn't sit through a whole video.
No, I'm saying again, multiple shows that I've done about Fukushima do not get high ratings. They're not.
You're not going to get high ratings for that. You're not gonna. And when you talk about it, you're lucky to get an audience of people that want to hear it or listen. Because if anything that cuts grooves in the heart and the mind of people, let alone want to wake them the fuck up, forget it. You're lucky you're going to get anybody that listens to the show with us, especially with me on it.
No, I mean, that's besides the point.
No, it's not beside the point. Because it's all about getting people to give a fuck. That's where it's at.
Well, that's part of it. And like I said, when it comes to this, one of the major questions that I ran into early on was like, what kind of solutions are there? And I'm like, well, you know what I'm saying? For real, let's really break this down and be honest about it. There is no solution because it's It's already been 6 years. A year.
Yeah, the deadly six. You had to correct me from 5 to 6 yesterday. Thank you for doing that, because now I know it's the deadly six. Oh my goodness! When you said it was 6, I'm like, oh no, it's been that one. I mean, forget about the character 5. It's 6. I didn't even want to look up on Google what the character 6 was, because it could have been anything.
Matter of fact, not this past weekend, but the weekend before that, last Saturday, that Saturday, March 11th, that was the 6-year anniversary. So you were right. You know, at the time, you were right. You know, 5 years, but we just passed the 6-year anniversary.
Oh wow!
Anniversary of this event, because I don't like to look at it that way. It's not something to celebrate, but
no, you don't celebrate that. That's like walking up to a soldier saying Happy Pearl Harbor Day, especially when the Americans started it with their president. And they don't know that.
Here's my point, though. Even a year of this shit going on is too much. And, you know, Trump, you know, hey, let's build a wall between Mexico and America. How about you build a wall around these nuclear reactors that are in meltdown? Can you do that, Mr. President? You know, I don't really give a shit what he does. Obama, it doesn't matter. The last president since I've been alive are nothing but pieces of shit, and Trump is no different. I don't care how people feel about it. Oh, give him some time. Just give him some time. He's going to make America great. Bullshit. It doesn't matter what he does. That's what I'm saying. Because as long as this shit's going on, there is no future for any of us. And that's a problem. That's a major problem. So, yeah, go build a wall around Fukushima, Donald Trump. Instead of wasting all your money here building this bullshit wall, go build a wall and try to contain, again, this event, this horrific nuclear tragedy that has the potential to kill everybody on this planet. And if you can't do that, I don't give a shit what you're talking about. I don't care. I don't care about Donald Trump. I don't care about the United States government. I don't even care about people in general because, again, people in America, they can tell you everything about Jay-Z, but they don't even know who David Rockefeller is. They have no idea about the United Nations and what David Rockefeller stood for. Matter of fact, if you look at Rockefeller Center, guess what's out front of that motherfucker? A big golden statue of Lucifer, right? Because they all worship that. They all have a leader. And let me tell you, I know who the leader is. So this may be all part of the plan. Again, too, Big E, this is all biblical. The water, the oceans, the shit is going to be poisoned at a certain point. And it already is, at least when it comes to Pacific. And like I said, it's all just traveling around, doing what it does, and 6 years is a long time.
All right, well, this is what I suggest we do. I suggest we take a break, grab a drink, do what we got to do, and then you can refuel and we start back up in, let's say, 10 minutes? 5 minutes? What do you say?
I don't know. I got a few other things here to stress to people. Again, I don't know. Live listeners are one thing, but people may go back and pull this show up. Even if the show uploads or whatever it does to YouTube, if any of those tag words are Fukushima, people are interested in hearing this conversation because it's like I said, it's something that is just out of control. It's like Hulkamania. The shit is just, it's like, what are you going to do, brother? When Hulk, what are you going to do when a nuclear reactor is leaking in the ocean, brother? You ain't going to do shit.
Yeah.
You're not going to do nothing.
And I still, before we do anything, tell me what you were going to tell me about the Atlantic, like we talked about before, because I tagged my mom in this post. I want you to get on that before we go to break, please.
Yeah, like I
discuss
said, if this is leaking into the Pacific Ocean, which it has been
for 6 years,
day,
amplify hashtag 6 years verbally, please, so my mom gets this.
Right. I mean, I'm just saying, if it's leaking every day, 365 days a year.
6 years.
For 6 years. Add that up. And then understand how the global climate works, how the Earth works, whether it's whatever you think it is. I don't even want to get into that subject. But just to let people know,
do the math in your head. Look at the seasons.
Travel, there are ocean currents that carry shit around, and ocean water evaporates and goes up to the clouds. So the clouds take that water, they travel, they rain on different parts. Then, once it rains, it goes into the streams, the rivers, drinking water. That's another thing I'm going to get into when we come back, the drinking water in Japan. But it goes through the normal routine. So if anything that is toxic in any part of the ocean is doing that, then that's a major problem. All the ocean on the planet is being contaminated. And like I said, 6 years, you may not see so much going on, but if this continues to leak as much as, you know,
So when we come back...
I'm just saying, if we continue on the same path that we are on right now, yeah, there's going to be a problem. People on the East Coast are going to be feeling it, but people on the West Coast,
worldwide, they're going to be feeling it.
In the West Coast of the United States, even still live there and are enjoying their crabs or their shrimp, and you know, people joke about it. I had a
crab legs. My mom loves them.
Here's some Fukushima shrimp that I'm eating for dinner, and it's like, it's funny. It's not funny. It's not funny.
And you know what's even more crazy? It will affect the elements. Grabbing rainwater from your backyard won't even be safe. Chemtrails, forget it. You won't even have to do chemtrails anymore.
We're talking about water. We're talking about water on the planet Earth. Okay, we're not.
You won't even have the chemtrails. You won't even need to do them. They won't even have to do them. That'll affect the environment so bad. You won't even the chemtrails won't even be necessary. They'll probably still do them. They'll probably still do them.
Like I said, that's another aspect of it. Whatever they're doing, today was a horrible day. Oh my God! I went outside. It looked like a checkerboard when I looked up at the sky. You know?
Look up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's a chemtrail going through. Can a damn thing change? How high? So high I can kiss the sky.
You can't even enjoy the day or how the sky looks because they're so wrapped up in their fucking social media and how important they are on Facebook. But let me tell you, today when I went outside, the sky looked like it just depressed me. It was very depressing. And here's another thing: who's flying these planes? What kind of special mission? It has to be like, in my mind, I'm thinking it has to be like some kind of radio-controlled airplanes and shit. But no, it's really some asshole flying and spraying this shit. You know, like what kind of? I'm just following orders. I'm just following orders there,
Lieutenant. I swear they told me to do it. The general from the auto insurance told me to Commander Shack to do what I told me.
I don't follow these orders. I ain't gonna get no paycheck. Yeah. Good job.
I wouldn't get no bubble gum shrimp if I didn't do what I was told.
They can't run away from what they're doing.
You can't. What are you gonna run to? Where would you run to?
In the atmosphere, whatever the fuck they're doing. Yeah,
where would they run?
You're gonna go on the ground like some roaches. You're gonna hide on the ground. You're gonna figure out a way. Whatever. You're gonna go to Colorado airport. You're gonna use your little tunnels you got underground.
They find you so easily.
It's not gonna work.
It's not gonna work. Once you enlist in the military, you're stuck.
Like I said,
they don't have to chip you. They can find you.
I always think about Kevin Blanche. Like I said, Kevin Blanche has been covering Fukushima as long as I have. He's been on it. But yeah, they're gonna be calling you a radical. They're gonna be calling you crazy. They've been calling me crazy
since I was 5, man. So I'm used to that shit.
You don't fit the norm. You don't fit the mold.
Oh God, I hadn't fit the mold since I got kicked out of Catholic school when I was 5. I thought when I was 5 years old, this is how that shit really got started. I thought when I was 5 years old, when I got kicked out of Catholic school, I got kicked out of church and school at the same damn time. So I thought that when I went to NS school in Port Louis, all I had to do was get kicked out of school there. All I had to do was make noises and act like I wasn't paying attention. Hear what I'm saying? Act. And act like I didn't know how to act, and I get kicked out of there too, and I wouldn't have to go to school or grow up, and that's all I thought, and that's all I did, and all I had was that Peter Pan Neverland shit going through my head, because it was put in front of the TV in front of me, so I believed it, because it was on TV, and I was a stupid kid, and what happened? I was put in front of the damn doctor. I knew I wasn't sick, but look what happened to me. 31 years later, I'm mentally ill as fuck, supposedly, and I can't carry a gun because I have all these goddamn labels. And you are now infringed because of my bullshit. How does that feel for my videos and my tags now, Dennis? You should have just watched my shit and you would have learned something. YOLO!
They're gonna be
YOLO!
They're gonna be calling you
Uh-huh.
Shit.
Uh-huh. And I had the
Oh my
right
God.
one the whole time. So I just went to Catholic school like a good little goddamn altar boy. Probably got molested by a priest, got shoot up the ass, and it probably
You would have
recorded
been
everything.
fine. You would have been fine if you just grew up and kept your mouth shut and then went to
And probably
college.
got sodomized
That's all
and been
you
part of
had
the
to do.
priest scandal.
And not even go to college. Just grow up and join the military and fight for freedom. Right?
Fight for
All
freedom
the
and democracy.
bullshit
Two
they
words that don't
tell us.
correlate, right?
They continue to sell us this shit.
Yeah,
But
two words that don't correlate. Freedom and democracy. Really?
I can't speak for everybody.
No, but I can speak for myself.
My-
Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. Can we go to break now?
Yeah, we can go to break here.
All right, yeah,
I'll
thank
work
you.
out.
Thank you, Dad. Thank you,
Oh,
Dad. I'm tired of hearing that
That's
part of it. We'll go to break and we'll come right back because right now we're going to go to break because we're going back to Fukushima real quick. Oh, man, about 10 minutes worth. All right, we'll be back. We're going to a song called Cape North, and it's called Tobacco Music because, damn it, I'm going to smoke a few.
Yeah, let me see what I can work out too, and maybe we can get a caller in here too. But yeah, there's a few more things to run off. But again, you know, it pretty much hammered it. And
All right, yeah.
the first 40 minutes here. But
And Spreaker just found out the origin of my mental health story. That's how it began, and now, tobacco music. Wow. Hold on, right back. Hold on.
yeah, I'll be back too. I'm gonna figure out something.
You want me to turn the phone off and you call right back?
Yeah, call back.
I'm gonna get another phone. It's about to die. Hold on. Ladies and gentlemen, that was A Northern Sort of Silence by Aaron English. And before our host comes back, I'm going to play Dark America by Steve Grant featuring Payday Monsanto and PTP. I'm new to a lot of this music, so I'm just hoping you're enjoying it as much as I am.
We face entrapment while they attack us. Some of us pack up, get off the map, and take one last puff. Some of us stay strapped up, we snap, crack up, and just act up. Some of us say, nah man, fuck that, we don't back up. Smashing the block, tactical black block, push back up. These activists grabbed and cuff on those black trucks that pass us. Fast track passes, they laugh at us, and they tax us. While hackers cracking navigational gadgets that track us. Cause we stroll around thinking we're incredibly blessed now. Willing to be strapped with devices heavily teched out. The human sensory system is suppressed and it's stressed out. We all checked into the matrix, but we never have checked out. So we try to avoid these weaponized toys that destroy us. We ain't paranoid, but we stay poised to the noises. Fuck the toys of a koi fish, this is the voice of the voiceless. And if you support the troops, then tell them boys to come join us. These are the times that we live in, the times that we die in. These are the times that we all are surviving. But we all must shine through these dark times in America we live in. These are the times that we die in. These are the times that we all are surviving. But we all must shine through these dark times in America.
These are the times of universal deceit, where telling the wrong type of truth can get you murked in the street, prosecuted and persecuted for some words that you speak. For a day, JFK, head burst in your seat. My cursive is neat, I bow to round out all your pestilence. I will never flinch when confronted with the evidence. I don't care about an order from whatever bench. You're gonna need yourself a better wench than Loretta Lynch. How the hell is preacher still on the loose now? She should be doing 2 to 5 in the Who's Scout. They pulled the wool over the eyes of the pew row. It shouldn't be any surprise what they do now. They keep on going all out to scare you with their ISIS factor. What they really need to do is hire better crisis actors. Election, they stole it. You wanna get to control it? You might have to sacrifice a couple chickens to mold it.
These are the times that we live in, the times that we die in. These are the times that we all are surviving. But we all must shine through these dark times in America we live in. These are the times that we die in. These are the times that we all are surviving. But we all must shine through these dark times in America.
What the fuck? This dark time is infinite. Venezuela is the white man killed the Indians. The water in Michigan is poisoning citizens while unhealthy Americans can't produce insulin. It's time to take initiative. And they ask me why I'm mad, cause you're not fucking listening. You need Ritalin to keep your attention from fizzling. We're giving kids iPads instead of making fishermen. Simplistic imprisonment. It's so easy to trap your mind with submissive instruments. Talking television sets, radios, and scripted text. They want you eating the beef, so you live acidic, yes. I won't skip a step, violent like ballistic tests. Ridiculous, expose the explicitness of the rich and fresh. And then we eat the rich and feed the poor with homegrown veggies and delete all the pizza stores.
These are the times that we live in, the times that we die in. These are the times that we all are surviving. But we all must shine through these dark times in America we live in. These are the times that we die in. These are the times that we all are surviving. But we all must shine through these dark times in America.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. And I hope you'll like your little 3-song block. We're back on the topic of Fukushima and a 3-song. I know it's only 3 songs, it's not much of a block. Now, I know back in the 90s they had 2-song blocks or 4-song blocks. Now, in those days, I know those are not a lot of blocks for songs, but nevertheless, they're songs. And it's what we had for a break. So, nevertheless, here's Dennis, Mr. Friday fucking Night back, and we're talking about Fukushima, and apparently I don't think we got any callers that want to join in on the conversation. I guess, I don't know. What do you say, Dennis?
No.
Huh?
I mean, I was trying to see what I can do, but like I said, that's my own fault. I should have done that before the show. But yeah, you should have played Radioactive by Imagine Dragons.
I don't know if we had that.
Understand.
Did we have that in the list, in the, like our speaker list? I don't even know if we have that.
that's mainstream. That's a song that's already been forgotten by everybody. But like I said, in a couple years after Fukushima, that was like the main rotation. That song was on every radio station throughout the country. Everybody know it's radioactive.
I'm not trying to get myself in trouble with the network. I'm not trying to get myself in any real trouble here. I just got back after like
terrible. Anyways, that's besides the point.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I just not trying to get myself in any heat. I just got back after taking a long hiatus. Yeah, whatever the hell they call that. You know, Mom being sick and all.
I did the same. You know, I burned a lot of bridges, and I'm trying to rebuild. I'm trying to let everybody know. Yeah, I mean, I'm stressed out, man. I got a lot of shit on my plate. But you know what? You know, that song that you played with Steve Grant and PTP and Payday Monsanto, essentially, that's a song that I was talking to people. You know, I was trying to get people to work with each other, not just me, but multiple people. But that was something, that was like a seed I planted a long time ago when I first met Steve Grant. I was like, you got to work with this guy. You got, you know, make a song with this dude or whatever. And then all these years later, I guess that song came out last year or whatever. But that was a monumental day for me. That was something I was very proud of.
Well, Dennis, can I say something to you? Can I say something to you? It's a little thing. I have a little meme that it's not a meme. I guess a meme is considered something that's mean. It's not something considered that's good. I don't know what a meme would really be considered. I don't know if it's considered a positive, inspirational thing if it's a meme. But I can tell you right now, it's something that I saw on a friend's wall and I carry everywhere I go when I usually made videos in the past because I don't make them really hardly anymore. But I'll tell you right now, I got something from a friend that I usually put everywhere else, and it's something I'll share with you. It's called, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. And you know what? It's true. And if it's true of me, it's just as equally true of you. You know, there's nothing wrong with you, Dennis. Chillax.
I mean, I've, like I said, early on, man, I found something, whether it was radio or I don't know, once, you know, we all go through it. We all go through that where we start realizing, you know, just how messed up shit is. And for me, I felt like, you know, somebody should be saying something. Somebody should be involved in letting people know, if you will. So when I found out what was going on, I was like, this is, you know, it's important. It's not, we're not talking about football for 2 hours. We're not talking about sports. We're not talking about wrestling. We're not talking about politics. We do talk about politics because we do that on Friday night, but
I hate sports.
I felt like somebody should do something, and it just drove me. It stirred up something inside of me, and again, you know, there is an ego aspect of it. I was talking to Lee about this Sunday night on the show that we did, but it's not all about ego. I mean, I'm just one person, man. I'm just trying to make a difference. I'm not going to be able to change the world, but you know, it's like Tupac said. He's not going to change the world, but he might spark the mind that will. So
yeah,
that's kind of the way I was looking at it, and
yeah, like I know you had this thing going where you were saying, I don't know if you still live by it, but you said if you're not striving to be the best, get out the business. Well, my thing is I have the similar approach, but my way of thing is what I leave behind will be found thanks to social media. Like I may be the hillbilly Jim. I may be the junkyard dog. I'm not going to be the Hulk Hogan. I'm not going to be the Ultimate Warrior. I'm not going to be the Ric Flair. But if I can be the similar types, the shadowy types, if I can be the Sleepwalker type,
or Jake the Snake,
if I can be one of those, I did my job. Because I left a trace of myself there enough to be appreciated. That's good enough for me.
I can identify what you're saying because, you know, growing up watching wrestling, it was like the world champion.
I don't have to be Captain America, but if I could be U.S. agent, that's better than Bucky.
I'm saying you're not always going to win the title. You know, me and Lee, the tag team champs. Okay, it's hard to even get a tag team title. It's hard to even work your way up to the point where you're considered, you know, the best at what you do. And it is an ego thing.
And I'd rather be War Machine than Tony Stark.
I want to be the best at what I do. But if you're not striving to do that, then you probably shouldn't be.
And personally, I'd much rather be War Machine than Iron Man. I don't care. I'd much rather be the other guy.
That's another
I
thing.
could
We can
I could
talk
never
about
stand
comic
being
books,
I
too,
could never
because
stand
this is
being
another
Tony
aspect
Stark.
that I know you understand and you grasp the concept of, is that I grew up watching these cartoons and comic books and all this shit. You know, I've read these things. You know, I've watched these things. Matter of fact, when I was growing up, G.I. Joe on Saturday mornings, I would watch G.I. Joe. Eat my cereal.
I love those cartoons.
Now, in G.I. Joe, that's a cartoon. You know, later on, action figures.
Yeah, of course. They made it better always later on.
My father had action figures when I was growing up from G.I. Joe. But my point is, in the 80s when I was growing up,
yeah, me too.
You had a secret society cabal, which was called Cobra. Cobra!
And then you had Cobra La, which was like the Illuminati.
Which wanted world domination, right?
Yeah.
Take over the world.
Right.
Nazis, right? But the American G.I. Joes were fighting that tyranny. You know, they were fighting the tyranny.
Fighting it off,
Going
yeah.
to save the day.
But then you had the
battle,
Illuminati
right?
Cobra,
No
which Cobra, which was Cobra La.
Yeah, I grew up watching that.
Yeah.
And we're not far from super soldiers. And
No,
shit
we're
like
not.
that,
We're not that. We've been past that whole mindset. Manchurian Candidate's been around for a while. That's been out. It's just not been known.
Well, like I said, if Fukushima keeps leaking, we're gonna.
Oh man, forget it.
We're gonna have some real superpowers. We're gonna have.
Oh my God, I'm waiting to pop a pill one day and end up coming out like Human Torch or some shit. Have some weird shit like some Pac-Man. Holy shit, just happened to me.
Yeah, it's gonna be like some.
Conscience level just took place.
Some mutants for real. It's gonna be like the X-Men for real.
Yeah, like pop a pill and all of a sudden you got supersonic. Some shit.
Or you could have a dolphin that mutates and grows
Turns into Optimus
into
Prime or
a
some
dolphin
shit.
that jumps out of the ocean and is a problem that we can't deal with.
Or some weird shit.
We'll just nuke it.
Beast Wars.
Yeah. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing shit out
Some
there.
weird shit's gonna
Like
take
I said,
place.
comic books and shit like that. A lot of
Truth
shit
is stranger
in
than
comic books.
fiction. We know that. We've said it. We've all said it. But then when it comes to pass, holy shit, pardon the pun, watch out when it happens.
No, it's like Batman. You know, it's like...
Oh, when his back got broken, I was happier than fuck.
No, I mean, it's like Batman. When I was growing up, Batman was somebody that was like the hero. But in reality, he was a billionaire entrepreneur that was exploiting people through his company so he could do some shit. But his parents died or whatever. But if you look at the villains, especially the Joker...
Yeah.
In Batman, later on in life, I identified better with the Batman. It has nothing to do with the movie with Heath Ledger, The Dark Knight, and all that shit.
No.
I can identify with the Joker because he understands that all the rules that they try to put on us are
Yeah, when you
bullshit.
find out who the Joker's about, what he's about, yeah.
I mean, you can see it. It's
He didn't just become the Joker because he wanted to be. He didn't just identify with the idea of killing.
Yeah, like I said,
He
when
just
I was a
became
kid, I
it.
was like, oh, villains are bad.
No, he had a reason for it.
The lines have been blurred. You don't really know who the villain is anymore.
It's like, you know how they say things happen for a reason? Well, nothing just becomes something out of nowhere. You see, psychiatry is a deception. They just want you to think that some people just do things for no reason. No! If you believe in evolution, you believe in psychiatry happening for a reason. You can't have it both ways. You want to have a professional opinion? You want to have a professional opinion? Think like an inmate. I have cousins who've been in and out of prison. I can tell you the evolution meets inmate very well. It's called, this is your job, this is my lifestyle. You want to be a professional psychiatrist? This is my life. Don't tell me, I'll tell you. How about that? They don't like it when you tell them that shit.
No, it brings it back to what I was talking to you before the show about briefly, is that...
Yeah, let's go back to Fukushima. I'm sorry.
Regardless of how good a person may perceive themselves to be to another person. Like, if you go into a store and they're like, hey, how can I help you? At the end of the day, this person may be a piece of shit, but they have to put on a persona to make you comfortable. And it's crazy because I've studied psychology. I have friends that have majored in psychology. But yeah, the human mind, you can never really...
And could you imagine what this is going to do? This whole thing down in Japan. Can you imagine? Speaking of the human mind, can you imagine what this is going to do to their minds? And what this is going to do ultimately to the people of Fukushima in their minds, psychologically, mentally, physically? Can you just imagine the people? Forget about the life of the animals for a minute. The people themselves. I mean, they survived the atom bomb, the generations before. The people that are there now, can you just imagine what this is going to do to their lifestyle, their minds, their children, people that are survivors? It's one thing to survive an atom bomb in World War II. But can you just imagine what this is going to ultimately do to the people of Fukushima?
No, I can't. And like I said, it's been 6 years. And
60
like I
years,
said,
you said, right?
I'm with you. I'm trying to understand.
I can't fathom. I don't want to find out what an atom bomb feels like to have to understand, but at the same time, I don't want to undermine what that must be for them and have like a cold shoulder about it. Because people that don't go through stuff have a tendency to have a cold shoulder about what that must be and throw it under the bus until it happens to them. And that's what people do. That's just what people do. People are cold-shouldered and stick their nose up in the air until something messed up happens to them, and then until it happens to them, they have this tendency to think, like, it mostly exists in Americans, at least the people I have in contact with every day. It doesn't affect me. It has no worry on my shoulder. It doesn't hurt me any. I don't care. As long as it doesn't hurt me, kick down my door, or have any effect on me. And they fail to understand that because they are people, they form a symbiotic circle with every person around the world that's a person like them. And because they are people made in the image of God, whatever God you believe in, whether it be one God, one creator, or a multitude thereof, regardless of beliefs or no beliefs, because you are an individual and of man or womankind, of one people, regardless of color, regardless of your politics or stance on life, because you are of one nation, of one people, regardless of all, one nation of all, you are of a mind, of a soul, of a conscience, of a heart, of a person, which eliminates the whole race concept. It just is made an issue by the media. It's made an issue by law. It's made less of an issue by mental health because liberalism is taken over by there. But I don't think that's really the case. I just think that's what TV tells us in their politics. But overall, it does affect you. And it doesn't, and you don't see it till it hits your door. Like Project Flicker. I would talk with Kitty several times.
No, like I told you, it's going to take Fukushima knocking on people's doors.
It's gonna.
Oh, shit, I understand. But what was that? Hiroshima, right, where they dropped the nuclear bombs, or whatever that was. Truman and all this shit. But the shit that's going on in Fukushima is actually 5 or 10 times worse than that. It's not a weaponized nuclear bomb. We're talking about a nuclear reactor, and not just one, but multiple nuclear reactors that are in meltdown. So, yeah, it's going to affect. It's affected. I mean, like I said, when you look at a time frame, right? We live as humans on the planet 24 hours a day, 8 hours we work, 8 hours we have fun, 8 hours we sleep, right? That's 24 hours in a day. That's what we do every fucking day as a human species. That's all we know how to do. But, yeah, it's affecting people. And for 6 years, every day this shit has been going on. And, like, I didn't really want to say this earlier, but I kind of did. But the ramifications of what's going on in Fukushima are way beyond comprehension of what we can even deal with. Not just the radiation levels, because, like I said, they're off the charts. But this is not a happy story. There is not going to be a happy ending for this, and this is not a Hollywood movie. This isn't Friday, go see this movie. It's going to scare the shit out of you. See, that's another thing. People want to be scared. They want to be riled up or entertained. This doesn't entertain people because this is real life. This is reality, and we don't know the outcome of this because it's so. Like I said, nobody can wrap their head around it. For me personally, like I said, for 6 years, I wish Fukushima never happened because it would be one thing that I wouldn't have to not worry about, but wouldn't have to think about all the time. Somebody commented on the post earlier that I posted about Fukushima. They were like, oh, that's funny. I was thinking about this today. I was thinking about Fukushima. I think about it every single day of my life. And that's sad. But that's the reality of it. And the only reason I do that is because when I wake up and get out the bed and I'm doing my everyday routine, back of my mind, there's a thought that's saying, this shit is still leaking. And like I said, eventually there's not going to be any future for you, me, or anybody's children or your grandchildren. There is no future because this is happening. And like I said before the show, this is actually biblical. This ties into if you're really religious, like you said, I don't care what your religious beliefs are, but when it comes to the Bible, this is actually tied into the Bible because the earth is going to be poison because the oceans are going to be contaminated with radiation.
Yeah, and that's probably
Fukushima.
going into the part where it says the waters will be red with blood. So we don't know what color. I mean, I don't know what color the waters are in Fukushima. I mean, I didn't see that part. But then again, I left the room so many times when the laptop was. I couldn't stand to see after so many scenes of.
No, this reminds me of again, comic books, right? Apocalypse. Yeah. If you know about X-Men, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, the part with Liquid Crimson, Japan, Sunfire, when Nemesis pinned the arms.
Again, if you know about Apocalypse, right? The supervillain in the X-Men, he always had 4 horsemen. Now that's biblical, but when the movie came out, they were like, well, maybe the Bible stole that from him.
Yeah.
That's not what happened.
Nope.
That's not what happened. They're writing comic books. They're not writing the Bible. They're writing comic books. They stole that from the Bible.
Of
the
course.
point is that the 4 horsemen are writing death, pestilence, famine, all that.
Yeah.
All that shit is happening.
Yeah.
Right now. Right
that
now.
was the whole point of saying that, just to steer just to steer people.
Yeah,
it was a
have you seen
distraction.
that movie, though? I mean, have you seen X-Men Apocalypse?
I don't have to. I've read so many of them books. I'm tired of them. I don't need to see the movies.
But that's what I'm saying. Back in it was like 1995, 94. There was an X-Men cartoon that used to come on Fox.
That's what I'm saying. I've watched so many of the cartoons.
I'd be off work or out of school.
Exactly, man. I've
shit.
seen
the
every
ideology and the philosophies that this particular individual had.
Yeah, he thought of survival of the fittest.
Yeah, it was very stunning to me because, like I said, the people that write these comic books, again, Watchmen.
The Watchers,
comic.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching that the other day. It came on TV, or I had the movie, or whatever. But I was.
Bro, I gotta tell you something right now. Before we get off topic completely on Fukushima, I just recently, over time, like over the last 4 months, I bought for $8 each. I bought all 4 volumes of the Marvel animes for $8 at the local Dollar General up here. I got the X-Men anime, I got the Wolverine anime, I got the Iron Man and the Blade, and they're all 2-disc volume sets, and they're $8 at the local Dollar General up here, and they're $8 a piece, and I bought them, and they're interesting. But the thing was, they're all Marvel animes, and they were named off as I told you. Now, they're Japanese animes. Now, you know why I'm bringing this up. I'm bringing it back to Japan, Fukushima. Now, the last one was Blade anime. They had vampires in Japan. Now, it all directs it back to Japan and Madripoor. That's like Japanese territory in comics now, I guess. Because, I hadn't picked up
If you look at it real quick, E, I'm not even talking about Japanese animators taking American concepts as superheroes and adapting it to themselves, because trust me, I've been a fan of Japanese culture for a long time. Not only the food, but the animation, a lot of their movies and shit. I'm a big fan of that shit. Like I'm well versed in world culture, especially when it comes to Japan. And like I was telling you earlier, they take the concepts and they spin them off. As a matter of fact, when I was growing up, Power Rangers came from Japan.
Yeah, Voltron.
That was a whole concept that came out of Japan, and America adapted it and put American actors in it and shit. But
Voltron, that's where it came from. Yeah.
Yeah, Voltron, all that. And they do that. They do that with a lot of American culture. They take it and I remember I was watching a Wolverine anime.
I have it.
Japan had redone. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I had the two-disc set.
That's another thing. Even the artwork is stunning and amazing that comes out of Japan. And you know, I was thinking about what's that fucking Afro Samurai, right?
That's a good one. I heard.
Right. I mean, just the animation alone is visually stunning. You don't need to know about the story too much. If you're watching that shit, just the artwork and just how much time went into creating this shit. It may seem easy to these artists, but for me, that
takes a lot of work to make a lot of that. I mean, these guys are good, and you know what? That's a lot of things I do value about Japanese culture, and like the things. That's why, you know, when we stand idly by, and you know, that's one thing I wanted to bring up about Fukushima, because I know we talked about it. I don't know if we brought it up here or before when we were talking before the show, but I do want to say this. When it was said by the Japanese physicist, because I don't know if we brought him up here or not, but one thing I did want to mention is he did say, because he was in New York. I think he's the physicist from NYU. But he did say on the news, bring in the Japanese Air Force. But here's the thing I want people to be captured on. When the whole Fukushima thing was taking place and was on every major news network as it was happening 6 years prior, this is part of Fukushima and Japan and the government. I want people to know, and know firsthand. That's really important. You know how when we have it, like when BP happened to us, we were able to move in and stop it? You know when Russia had their thing happen, they were to just move in and stop it. What was that called again, Dennis?
Chernobyl.
Okay. Japan couldn't just do that, and there's a reason for it. Here's why. America's own military has occupied Japan since World War II after the atom bomb so badly, they couldn't just bring in the Japanese Air Force like they want to. I'm sure they wanted to put an end to Fukushima. No problem. But if it wasn't for our atom bomb, and our World War II, and Roosevelt starting the attack on, provoking the Japanese before UN was founded, after the League of Nations failed, which was the need for another World War, and provoking our own attack on Pearl Harbor, and then us nuking with the help of Truman, nuking Hiroshima and Nagasaki. We've been occupying the fuck out of that whole country with our own military. We couldn't do it. Our military has occupied the fuck out of them.
Yeah,
they couldn't do shit to help them. They couldn't do shit as far as bringing in the Japanese Air Force to put that shit out.
Even you know, Fukushima is one thing, but even since the atom bomb was dropped, you know, that was the first time, and it won't be the last time that nuclear bombs were used, but even the fallout from that is still affecting people to this day. And that was, I don't know.
Oh God! Don't even get me started.
When was that?
I told people don't bring Ian Zhu out tonight. I'm trying to keep him settled in my chest.
But at the same time, again, government, the institution of government. If you look at Vietnam with Agent Orange, I mean, there were people that were affected by that, and that was a Monsanto corporation working with the government, dropping this shit on people. Fukushima is a whole nother category because this wasn't expected, but maybe it was, Big E, maybe it was all part of the plan, you know, and that's why I'm starting to come to the grips that if they wanted to stop it, they could, but I don't think they want to stop it.
No, they don't. I've made statements in the past that if we had nuked the heck out of that country so badly more, we could have sunk it into the sea like Atlantis back then. Back in World War II days. We could have done it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Maybe there was something, maybe there was a moment in time where they could have been like, you know what, we'll
put it on the back burner, they probably said, the goddamn Americans.
No, I'm saying maybe they were like, maybe we'll get on, you know, we'll contain this and everything will work out. But at this point, 6 years later, you know, I'm thinking, like, again, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking maybe this was all part of the plan. Maybe this is orchestrated and is exactly what they set out to do. Again, with 9/11, you know, 9/11 was allowed to happen, whether people want to believe that or not. It was allowed to happen, so we get a war on terror. We get all this shit, right? The NSA, surveillance state, everybody's a terrorist. You know, matter of fact, everybody's innocent until proven guilty, right, here in the United States of America. But when it comes to me and what I may talk about or what I may point out to people, yeah, we're a problem to the establishment. And like I said, I don't care who's president. I don't care about politics. I don't care about politicians. I don't care about the United States Congress, the government in general. Like the picture I posted before the show, it's like when you tell people the government's full of shit, they all agree. But when you tell them that we don't need government, everybody's like, whoa, who's going to build the roads? Who's going to bomb countries and
Jack Swagger,
we
the people.
We have to have some kind of order. We got to have some order. No, we don't. We don't need them. And you know what? I don't really care. At this point, I really don't care about how people feel about it because there's nobody in government, there's no politician, there's nobody in a position of power that can tell me what's good or bad for me because these assholes are still telling us that weed is bad for us. It's a gateway drug. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Don't ever smoke weed. You know, don't ever use weed because that shit is just, it's terrible for you. It'll fucking ruin your life. Well, here's the ironic aspect.
I was a pot baby. What are you talking about?
Alcohol. And guess who sells alcohol and owns the liquor stores throughout this country? So, actually, here's another aspect to tie into Fukushima. The hemp, right? For some odd reason, we moved away from using hemp. We have to cut down trees, and if we were using hemp, we could create alternative plastics, fuels, all types of shit that could benefit us as a human species, but we moved away from it. But hemp has, I don't know, I don't even know if that's accurate, but there may be something that hemp can do to eradicate this radiation that's coming out of Fukushima. And it could solve a lot of shit, but at the same time, again, I'm going off just memories of past shows and shit like that. But it's important to think about. It's very important to think about because weed is not that bad. You don't have to smoke weed. That's always the thing that they put in people's faces.
No, you can have brownies.
Yeah, you're a pothead. But here's the aspect of it, right? A lot of people use that as medicine. And I can guarantee you my father, who has been on pain pills for a long time, he doesn't really need the pain pills. All he has to do is smoke a couple of joints and he's good to go. You don't have no more pain. You don't need your fucking opiates that your troops are in Afghanistan protecting. You know, we don't need your fucking heroin. And this ties into a lot of shit going on in America, in all major cities. New York, Chicago, Washington, D.C., Los Angeles. I don't give a fuck where you're from. It's all tying into that, the epidemic of opiates. They want everybody hooked on opiates because they know it's death. They know it's certain death. I have good friends of mine on Facebook that are struggling to get off heroin and pain pills. I lost my cousin to that shit, E. My cousin fucking overdosed and died. He was fucking 34 years old.
What?
He's fucking dead.
Oh my God.
Okay? Yeah.
That ain't right. That is not right, man. Well, I can tell you right now, weed is not bad for you. I can tell you that to a fact because I was conceived on weed. I'm not joking. I was born on a military base, conceived in a bathtub. I'm a pot patch baby. I am Ian Andrew Maddox, host of ePsych, and I approve of this message. I really was born on a military base. Conceived in a bathtub. Not born, conceived. My parents were feeling mighty good that day. Continue, Dennis.
Well, like I said, this ties into what's going on in Chicago. Again, another topic that I'm always trying to let people know about, whether I'm posting over the weekend how many people got shot in Chicago, but Chicago is a bloodbath. You know why? Because the drug cartels, they don't sell weed anymore. The drug cartels and the people that are working inside of major cities that trickle out to your little suburb and your little white communities and the ghettos are not selling weed. They're selling fucking heroin and every other hard drug that they can get. And this is why there's so much death and destruction going on in Chicago. And a lot of people don't understand that. But same thing with Fukushima or any of this shit we may talk about, if you look into it, if you get off fucking Facebook and stop worrying about how people feel about what you're doing and research this shit, you might learn some shit. But when it comes to Chicago, that's why there's so much bloodbath and shit going on, is that cartels moved in and were like, you know what? We're going to fund the local gangs and we're going to pay off the local cops so they don't interfere with our business. And this is why you have so much bloodbath and shit going on, not only in Chicago, but throughout the United States of America. And that's what makes us so great, right? America is number one. We're the best in the world. Yeah, we're number one in all the wrong fucking categories. And I hate to tell people that, but that's what's going on. And like I said, I lost a cousin to, even myself. I was going down that road of the pain pills. Oh, I have pain. I need this pill. Oh, I wasn't even worried about drinking or doing anything else because I was taking these pills and the shit was numbing my fucking brain to the point where I was numb to everything else. And you cannot do that. You can't be numb to the world around you or people around you. You have to understand, you know what I'm saying? You have to understand that this is what's going on and this is what they want for you. Same thing with alcohol. Most of my life, my father has been a raging alcoholic. I remember, there's not too many times I remember my father sober, but the last 3 years he's been sober, and that's something I celebrate. But when I was growing up, my dad was drinking every single day, and all the violence and all the arguments and all the trauma that I went through growing up was for no fucking reason at all. You know, and that's another thing I want to point out to people. Like I said, when it comes to Fukushima, before you have a child, before you're like, oh, hey, we love each other, let's get married and have kids, understand what you're doing. Because a lot of people don't understand what they're doing. They just following the script. They're following the movie, what they've been told to do, right? Because when you die, when you and your wife are not here anymore, your children are going to pick up where you left off, and they're banking on that. That's why we have Social Security numbers. You're not free in the United States of America. There's nothing you can do that's not regulated or legal or mandated for you to sign up to be a part of. Unless you live in the woods, you know, unless you're off the grid, unless you figured out a way where you don't need their system. You know, think about what you're doing because you're bringing children into this shit. And I never asked to be born in this world. I was never asked that question. I grew up and went through my teenage years, my 20s. And right now in my 30s, I'm starting to realize, you know, I wish somebody would have asked me because I never would have signed up for any of this shit. And on top of it, we have Fukushima and a fucking rogue government that serves a power that we can't even see. We can't vote for David Rockefeller or any of these people. Not to mention, I'm so glad David Rockefeller's dead. I want to point that out again. I'm so glad this asshole is gone for all the destruction and oppression that he has put on people throughout the world. The United Nations, the secret societies, the Freemasons, the motherfucking Bilderberg group, which is going to meet here in the summer, coming up soon in a few months. I'm sure Bilderberg's going to meet and be like, you know what, Fukushima's still leaking, let's just let it leak. Yeah.
Can I say something real quick?
Because we serve evil. You know, it's not even about Satan or God or good or evil. Just understand that these people serve evil and they don't care about your fucking opinion. To them, you're cattle. That's all you are. You're just a number, and you better produce money. And if you're not producing money, they'll replace you again with your children or somebody else. When you're gone, somebody else will take your spot. Trust me. So that's very frustrating to me. And like I said, we have military establishments throughout the world trying to spread democracy and the American way throughout the world. And that's why people hate us. In fact, not necessarily hating America, they're laughing at us because Donald Trump is our president. Wow, really? People are going to go back in their history books and look at the presidents and look at Donald Trump and be like, really? That's who you elected? And trust me, Hillary is no better. But that's the bullshit they gave us in this last, not just this last election, but all the prior elections. They give you two pieces of shit and want you to shine it up and make it look good. It doesn't look good. None of these people are fit to rule, regardless of how much money they have or where they went to college or whatever their family ties are. Not to mention, a lot of presidents are actually linked and cousins, and there's a bloodline going on there. It's like some hidden shit that most people would never even think about. But it's not funny. It's not funny at all. Just like Fukushima, it's not funny. These things are really happening. This is not a Hollywood movie to scare you. People want to go to a movie and get scared. Oh, the crowd is traumatized because the movie was so fucking scary. Well, look at reality.
I don't want to be scared. I don't get into that scary movie shit, you know? It's like, what's up with that scary movie shit? It's like, come on, man. I like to be entertained when I see a movie, but I don't like to be scared. It's like, what's up with that being scared shit? I never understood that. I don't like being scared.
Americans never get scared until
Bullshit!
they go and
Yeah,
get
they
their
do.
entertainment. And then they get the shock and, you know, like the crowd is like, oh, or they're clapping, or they appreciate
Okay,
it.
let me rephrase that. Let me rephrase that. Americans don't get scared when it's a movie.
Yeah, they don't. They don't.
When it's a movie, maybe they don't get scared if they're that kind of American. But when shit happens in your face, boy, I get scared if it's a movie or if it happens in my face. I'll get scared. But especially if it's scary. If it's scary, come on. But if you're that kind of person, if you don't get scared if it's a movie.
I'm saying they'll pay. Okay, when I was growing up, movie tickets were like
ridiculously less.
It was like $5 or $7.
Oh my God! Remember when they started growing up in prices?
No, I'm saying you could go watch a movie. When I was like 13, 14 years old, I used to go to this movie theater, and it was like $5 or $6. And me and my friends, we would go. Before we saw the movie, we'd go to the dollar store and get a bunch of candy and put it in our
You
jacket.
could bring it with you when it wasn't not okay.
Outrageous prices for all their fucking concession stands, right?
You have to sneak
time,
it in.
When I was going to watch the movie, we would show up early because they had Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Mortal Kombat, they had that in the lobby.
Mm-hmm.
So we played Mortal Kombat, and we would remember these moves of fatalities where you could fucking rip somebody's fucking spine out of their body. And it doesn't traumatize people to this day. If you look at Mortal Kombat, it's still alive. Grand Theft Auto, the video game culture in itself was something that was put there to, you know, just get you, you know, comfortable with the shit that you're about to see. But right now in 2017, it's not funny to me at all. I mean, I may joke about it, I may have sarcasm about it, but yeah, to this day, people pay $16, $17 to go see a film, and then they leave and they're like, you know what, that shit scared me for a minute. It scared the shit out of me. Well, look who's your president. That should scare you. And not just Trump, but Obama, Bush Jr., Clinton, Bush before him. They all talk about a new world order. That shit should scare the fucking pants off of you, but it doesn't, because you don't care. Now, to tie this all in and come full circle, like I said, David Rockefeller kicked the bucket. After he had heart transplant after heart transplant, at least 3 or 4 or 5, maybe even a liver transplant. Who knows what this asshole had, because he had the money and the means He'll be like, you know what? I'm sick. I need something to keep me living because I want to see the New World Order be unleashed on Earth. Well, guess what, David? You're done. You're done checked out, buddy. You're not going to make it. And hopefully throughout this next year, we'll continue to see George Soros, Henry Kissinger. All of these assholes need to be off planet Earth because they are the ones that are writing the script. It is, all the world is a stage, trust me. Everything we know is a stage where these assholes get out there and they try to present something to you. But hopefully, we won't have to deal with them much longer. And, on top of everything, hopefully the future next generations will get their shit together and stop listening to shitty hip-hop, the shitty entertainment industry, and everything else, and get their shit together and really understand it's bigger than them. They are the future leaders. When me and you are gone, these are the people that are going to be leading the world. So if that's the case, then right now we're in trouble. And like I said, Fukushima is still leaking. Think about this, E, before I wrap all this up. If you cut your finger off right now, you took a butcher knife and cut your index finger off, it's going to bleed, right? It's bleeding. What are you going to do? Go to the hospital? But it's bleeding. And you got to figure out a way to make sure your finger, maybe they can attach your finger back so that you'll have your finger back. But in the meantime, it's bleeding. You're hemorrhaging. You're going to die if you don't go to the hospital. That's Fukushima. Somebody cut the fucking finger off, and it's bleeding, and there's nothing any of us can do. The most intelligent people on the planet haven't come together and figured this shit out yet. And like I said, we don't have superheroes. We don't have G.I. Joe. We don't have Voltron or the Power Rangers to go into Fukushima and shut the shit down. Let's just let it run wild, Let's just go out of here in a blaze of glory and let everybody get sick and die. Because if it leaks for another 6 years, let me tell you, it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be fun. And, I think here at this point, in the show, I've touched on whatever I can tell people. Like I said, I'm not trying to scare people. I'm not trying to get them riled up. But, something needs to be done. And if you're on Facebook looking for your own gratification, I do it too. We all have our personalities. That's not the point. The point is that people need to know about this shit. And if you're not doing that, then you need to get out the way. You need to leave Facebook. You need to, go read a book or do something else better with your time, because you're not helping. I'm here to help, even if I'm an asshole. But like I said, that's a whole nother show. My ego and all that shit is a whole nother thing. But yeah, like I said, I appreciate the opportunity to even get the shit off my chest and even talk about the shit, because it needs to be talked about. People need to be talking about this shit. And if you're not talking about it, I understand. You got kids to feed. Well, guess what? There is no future for your children. There is no future if this continues to happen. Like I say, you cut your finger off. I'm bleeding all over the house. I'm bleeding everywhere. I'm fucking dying. But guess what? We're all gonna die. And Fukushima doesn't stop leaking. And yeah, it is an extinction level event, because nobody knows what to do. Maybe God will save us. Maybe when all the shit is said and done, God will open up the sky and he'll come down here.
Yeah, maybe we'll get raptured, and Kirk Bogdaller and John Hagee and Joel Osteen and Joseph Prince will lead us to the other Prince and King of Pop, and we'll be all safe. And we'll moonwalk our way into the stars, and light works will go off, and I don't know.
Well,
that's wishful thinking, though. I like your thought, Dennis. It's great positivity on Last Voice of Liberty Network. Great show.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, we can be positive, but at this moment in time, to be honest with you, there is no there is no human intervention that's going to stop Fukushima from what it's doing. And like I said, when people have children, I had a neighbor that I was just talking to, and he was like, "Man, I just found out my wife, will finally have a child," and I was trying to bite my tongue because I was.
Oh yeah. I'm glad you tried and it succeeded. Did it succeed?
I'm like, "Oh, that's amazing! You had a child."
Oh wow.
You're gonna have a little child running around, but I had to bite my tongue just to.
And it didn't. And it didn't.
Go
And you didn't
into
cut.
what we've been talking about for the last 2 hours.
Oh, and you didn't cut your tongue off, and they didn't grow up and pulsate and start talking and pulsating and grow into a whole bunch of baby tongues.
I'm just saying. That's great. There's a reason why I don't have children, and why I stay single, and why I try not to communicate with people on a certain level, is that I understand what's going on.
So you didn't.
Everybody else. Again, it's not an ego thing or anything like that.
Yeah,
but everybody else
I know what you're saying. I'm just trying to.
bought,
I'm just trying to bite my tongue in the process
that
of.
was sold to them.
I know.
Again, the great illusion. That's the reason why they're called the Illuminati. They paint illusions. They practice magic to keep all of us sedated and at a point where they can continue this fucking madness. And I'm not buying it no more.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't
Yeah,
care.
you gotta be careful. You're starting to sound like Dennis. You're starting to sound like a conspiracy theorist. Stop that.
Well, that's fine. Hey.
Okay. Well, as long as you're aware, you're a conspiracy theorist.
Send me to a FEMA camp or whatever.
All right. Well, as long as you're giving me permission. All right. Well, wow. This has been one heck of a show.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Like, if anything, E, I appreciate what you do and being a part of the show. Hopefully you can continue doing what you're doing. I'll be working with Lee or whatever, but
hey man, any more times you want to do Fukushima nights, let me know. I'll be more than happy to help you out, man. Working on this project with you. Hey man,
there's a lot of facts that I didn't even.
Hey, we can keep right on going. If you want to keep right on going, I have all night. I don't have anything better to do, but I know you do. But hey man, if you want to keep it going.
I'm saying to end this show here tonight, like I said, there's a notebook I'm looking for. Like I said, throughout the years. I don't know, this is probably it's kind of ironic because this is probably my 6th or 7th show that I've done about Fukushima with multiple different guests. I remember I did a show with Austin and Lisa about Fukushima back in like 2013, and it never changes. It's very, it's very depressing, man. It's very, it's bad. It's bad. Here's my advice to you. Is if you want to watch some more videos or whatever you have to research or look into, please do that. But, this is a deep rabbit hole. This shit is not, again, it's not for the novice. It's not for somebody that just got into the truth movement or activism or whatever you want to call it, because Fukushima is still happening. And like I said, I remember when it started, and it's 6 years later, and nothing has changed. And that's very bad. I wish I had the money. I wish I had the money or the superpowers or something to stop this. Because if it continues doing what it's doing, we're all screwed. We're done. Game over, man.
Yeah.
Game over.
No extended play, huh?
There is no good outcome for this. And even Chernobyl, like I said, when that happened, a devastating disaster, and Fukushima is way beyond that. And they were able to contain that by, again, understanding the situation, calling people in, and containing it and stopping it. And they stopped it, as far as we know. But when it comes to Fukushima, 6 years later, yeah, it's still leaking every day. It's leaking into the ocean. And again, that's very bad news. You don't want to tell people that every day. But I think about it every day because it's just on my mind. Like I said, I wish it never happened. I wish this event never happened. I wish...
Yeah, it is very sad.
Everything was fucking fine, but it's not fine. because this event, like I said, has the potential to destroy the entire planet. You know, just like dinosaurs. Or even if you don't believe in that shit, or whatever it is, just extinction level event is what Fukushima is.
Well, Dennis?
And it's because my point here is that it's because you're dealing with people that are consumed with money, power, and control, and not worried about the repercussions because they think tomorrow is just going to come. Tomorrow's not promised. Trust me, tomorrow's not promised for any of us. But when it comes to this event, you're not looking at a bright, sunshiny day when it comes to Fukushima. You're looking at death. That's what I was saying earlier about the Four Horsemen. Yeah, death is riding. That motherfucker is riding, and he's doing very well because, like I said, this has potential to wipe everybody out.
Well,
I don't care where you're from, what country you live in. Doesn't matter. If this shit continues to do what it's doing, we're done.
Well, Dennis, before you hang up, I just want you to hang on the line as I close the show. As the show's closing, I want you to hang on the line because I want to talk to you real quick before we close the show. But when the show closes, just stay on the line because as the show closes, just go ahead and proceed. Just go ahead and proceed. Okay, go ahead and proceed. You got any more to say?
No, I was just going to say, pretty much what I've been saying the whole entire show is that if anybody out there, I advocate for anybody out there that can deal with Fukushima. If you're a superhero, if the government gave you some Weapon X powers and you have super healing abilities and you can go in there and stop all this shit, please do. But, that's what is it, wishing on a star, because it's not going to happen, buddy.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And if I may throw one in there, when it comes to you Lois Lanes out there, you'll learn fast. Superman, just push the bitch off the roof and fix Hiroshima now. And Fukushima and everything that has a hero and a Fuka. You'll find a better wife in Fuka or hero. Just push Lois off the wall or off the building, damn it, and fix that damn UN. We need a better hero in Fuka. Now! And on that note, Dennis, you still with me?
Yeah, I'm still.
Good, because we need to fix Fukushima, and anything other than a bad superhero joke, I just could not help but not throw at myself, because damn did that just fucking suck to end it. Holy shit.
No, that's the point. There is no fix. There is no fixing.
Well, there was no fixing that bad joke I just threw out there, because damn, I just tried to throw a good one. Damn, that just hit right into the glove of the team. I just tried to knock my running plate out, and damn, I just fucked myself up.
I'm saying, from what I gather, my information, as far as my opinion on what's going on in Fukushima, there is no fixing it. So, enjoy every day that you can. Be happy when you can, or whatever you have to do as you living a life on this planet. But when it comes to Fukushima, yeah, this is, again, it's all biblical. This is all tied in. This is all, it's all part of the plan. There is no fixing this. This reactor, the 2 or 3 reactors that are out of control are potentially going to kill everything on this planet if we don't do. Again, but there's nothing we can do.
No, what can we do? What can we do?
There's nothing to do.
Nothing.
There's nothing to do.
Just report. Spreaker.com, Last Voice of Liberty Network. Either see you next Tuesday, Friday night Super Show, Sunday, Saturday, Monday, any other day. I don't know. But I think I'll play a song and we'll call it a night, and Dennis just stay on the phone. Damn, I fucked up that joke at the end, didn't I? Holy shit. I tried to end it. I go, oh, well, there I goes trying to fix things. I guess I shouldn't be a Fukushima power plant guy. I'd be worse than Homer. Alright, let's end it.